I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to Highlights Eurosport.
He's going to break his 6th world title.
Oh, he's done it! And look at these two go! He's going to do it! His first victory!
The World Championship is done.
What a race it's been!
Hello and welcome back to Formula Sim Racing and welcome back to the FSR Academy Championship. And as you can see, we are heading to one of the truly great circuits as we go to Belgium and Spa-Francorchamps, steeped in history and potentially more to be made today as it is getting very, very close in the title race. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, with Antoni Nicpon alongside me, both in the commentary box and on the cameras as well. Antoni, it's been a great season so far in the Academy Championship. What can we expect coming into Spa?
Well, if there's anything we've learned so far this season, Ross, is that we can't expect anything, truly. With 3 rounds to go, only 1 point between the 2 championship leaders, as we'll go to the standings right now. Difficult to predict. I think we can, as always, bank on a lot of chaos this race. But other than that, I think it's a hard prediction.
Well, it's safe to say anything is expected, as always, in the Academy Championship. And as you can see, only 1 point separating Danoff Brandthome and Peter Knapp up the top of the table. We've had 4 different winners in the last 4 races as well. So it's been a dramatic season so far, to say the least. And there is a very real possibility that we could be leaving Spa today with a very different championship table. Cedric Bill as well, Giuseppe Canzanieri, both of them, well, not quite in the 100-point bracket, are still very, very close in the title race. And the likes of Ruben van der Hudding and Kostas Gallinamartis as well, they are right there. All it takes is for one good race from them and some bad luck for everybody else, and they could be right back up in the title race. A little fun fact for you, though. The last few times we've been to Spa in the Academy Championship since 2021, the race winner here at Spa has gone on to take the Academy crown. So I'm not a superstitious individual, but that may be something to watch out for those of you who believe in such things. We are just heading out for our qualifying session as we're following the Italian Giuseppe Saracino around in his Go Team car. Of course, no lap times being set yet. Still on the outlap as we head down to the bottom part of the circuit here, running in through Campus and now Stavelot, or just afterwards, of course. Spa, not quite as fearsome as it used to be back in the 50s and the 60s and beforehand, but still a monster of a circuit. It is a long way round here, and it's very, very tricky to say the least. Of course, just over 7 kilometres, or 4.3 miles, 20 turns, and a long old lap time, and 3 very, very different sectors as well as we head through Blanchimont on board. You've got the fast stuff here and up through Eau Rouge and Radion and down the Kemmel Straight, and then a very tight and twisty section, and all the technical parts through sector number 2 as we are on board with the Super Swede himself, Danoff Brandthome, coming into this one, of course, with that 1 point lead in the championship. What can the Valet eSports driver do to try and make his best result and extend that championship lead heading into the later rounds in the season? Of course, after this one, only 2 rounds left, Antoni. The season has flown by and we're heading to the Circuit of the Americas and then Suzuka. You know, you said that we should expect the unexpected. Anything can happen in the Academy Championship. But for this man right here, you know, leading the championship by just 1 point, what do you think's running through his mind as we're coming into round 8?
Funnily enough, Ross, if there's one thing, one exception to that, to what I said about that, I think Danoff Brandthome is the exception here. He's just a mainstay in the Academy series for the past few years. And the one thing you can usually expect from an Academy driver is the inconsistency, but this is something that just isn't the case for the Swede, or the Super Swede as you like to call him. I mean, the consistency all season that he has had as he goes fastest right now, it's been on a completely another level. If there's one thing I think we can expect from him for sure is a good result today. As far as I believe, I'd have to check the standings, he hasn't finished outside the top 7 all season in every single race he has done. So yeah, I mean, this guy is on another level, Ross. You have to agree, having watching him for the past few years.
Of course, consistency is king, and Brantham perhaps one of the most consistent drivers that we have here in the Academy Championship, but he is absolutely mighty behind the wheel, and he really does seem like he just wants this championship so badly. Of course, he did miss the third round in Germany, and that, of course, may be holding him back in the championship a bit, but his main rival at the moment, Peter Knapp, he did miss the opening round of the season, also a DNF in Singapore as well. Maybe he'll come to rue that one come the end of the season. Saracino then, currently fastest, almost half a second quicker than anyone else as we come to the end of the opening qualifying lap. Saracino was the quickest driver out in the practice sessions before we went on air as well, as we're on board with De Vries coming through. Blanchimont are now running down to the bus stop. Again, you're just pinning the throttle and hoping you get on the brakes later than anyone else, but it's a very, very deceptive chicane, off camber, uphill. Very easy to lose the rear end of the car there, especially on the opening laps when your tyres and your brakes might not be quite up to temperature. As it stands, Saracino, Brantham, Peter Knapp, your top three. Nando Massa in P4. That's a strong lap from him, but a second down. That looks like Saracino is going to be the one setting the pace. Of course, a private qualifying session, as always, here in Formula Sim Racing. If this is your first time watching on, you've never tuned into a Formula Sim Racing event before, well, private qualifying, while all the drivers are out on the circuit, and they're all hidden from each other's view. It's like your own personal hot lap session, so you're not held up by yellow flags. You don't get the advantage of slipstream or held up by slower cars. It's all about what you can do out on the track and pushing it to the absolute limit. So we see Oliver Tarras running around, yet to set a lap time, but two good enough sectors from him so far. We'll see what he does as he comes into the bus stop. Of course, Tarras burst into the Academy scene this year, taking, well, a win in his maiden race at Silverstone, a home Grand Prix win as well, and a 6th place in San Marino as well, but an unfortunate DNF last time out at Turkey. He'll be wanting to return to the podium at the very least, and slots it into P4 with just 8 tenths down on Saracino. Back on board though with Brantham. He's green through the first sector. Again, this track, so much is dependent on setup though. Alongside driver skill, you have to really be intuitive with how you balance the aero levels and balance the car, because you can choose between going very, very fast in a straight line in the first and last sectors, or very, very quick in the middle sector and all the high-speed corners. It's a real balancing act. Galan Martis is purple in the first sector. Brantham looking to try and improve as well as he comes through Pouhon. And then it will be down into the chicane that leads us into Stavolo. A very, very tricky part of the racetrack coming through here. We'll wait and see what the sector split is going to be for the championship leader. Another personal best, but no session best so far for the Valet eSports driver. So maybe some time still left on the table. He will have time for another lap if he is quick getting out of the pit lane. As Galan Martis does not go purple in the middle, he can only stay green. Saracino is also out on another lap, but is not improved on his time so far. Coming through the bus stop then. What can Brantham do on the run to the line? Tries to keep it as short as possible, pins the car to the inside wall as crosses the line, and looks like he actually made a bit of a mistake there in the final sector. Did not improve. Galan Martis looking to improve though. Bit of a kick of oversteer heading out of the bus stop, and he moves up 1 place. So, Antoni, it's looking like it's not actually that close at the moment, because Saracino, half a second ahead of everyone else, looking like he's in a bit of a league of his own at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is somewhat surprising and unsurprising at the same time. I mean, Saracino, if you look at his results, well, he is a special kind of driver, both on the front, that every time he has finished a race this season, it has been a race win. Problem has been though, Ross, that he hasn't finished too many of those races, only finishing 2 out of 5 races he has entered, sorry. This is going to be his 6th entry of the season, so, well, you already mentioned one of your fun facts earlier on. It's going to be curious to see if this fun fact will continue, assuming Saracino goes on to finish this race, but if there's any place you can do it from, it's pole position.
Very, very true, but he's quite a way back in the championship. At the moment is Saracino, again, with only 2 wins to his name. It's 50 points. He's taken the maximum out of the races he's finished, but 53 points back from Daniel Brantham. So if he wins this one, might be a tall or ask to keep that streak going. As that is Oliver Tarras getting it very, very wrong up the top of the hill coming through Nicpon. That will be his qualifying session over. He does not have time to complete another lap. Giuseppe Saracino, though, does, as does De Vries. Coming down the Kemmel straight and into Nicpon we go. Don't want to take too much curb there on the inside. Can unsettle the back end of the car and cause a bit of a problem trying to set it up for that left-hander, which then, of course, causes you issues coming down the small straight into Bruxelles. Big whack of oversteer there. Had to put a bit of opposite lock on. Car looks very, very steady, though, coming through. Well, it's now unofficially the Jackie X corner, but I think we all like to refer to it as No Name, that left-hander. It's looking like a very, very tiny lap from De Vries, but the first sector was not quite on the money, unfortunately. So we'll have to see if Gerloff can improve again. Only one race start to his name so far this season. That was last time out at Istanbul Park, finishing in P11. So not a bad result for that man. Can he try and improve on this one? Currently looking to qualify P11 as well. Checkered flag is now out in this session. And Saracino looks to be untouchable at the top of the timing sheets. Let's see if anyone can pull out some miracles late on. Massimiliano Riboli, he's green in his first sector, as is Micah, currently down in P12. A few drivers looking to improve, but do they have what it takes in their locker? De Vries crosses the line. I don't think he's going to be able to improve, and indeed he does not. So he will stay down in P11 unless someone further down the order can try and unseat him. Interesting to note that Terry Crawford and Cedric Bill haven't set a lap time. Bill, of course, currently P3 in the championship, only 12 points back from Danoff Brandthome. So very interesting. He has decided to not make his way out. Riboli didn't improve in the middle sector. Clobbers the sausage curb through the bus stop and clobbers it again. And what could have been an improvement comes to nothing. Riboli will not improve as he spins at the final corner. Brandthome still pushing though. This is the one that we want to see. Can the championship leader unseat Saracino and take a brilliant pole position? He was almost half a second back as he runs it to the line. Take the shortest line to the timing. Does he cross and does he improve? No, he does not. Brandthome can only manage P2. It's still a front row start. What about Masej Micah? What can he do? 2 personal best sectors, crosses the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. Great lap. Moves him up to P8. That was 7/10 quicker on that occasion. So great job from him. But it will be the Italian Giuseppe Saracino. Again, the man who has won 2 races and DNF'd from 3. Can he make it? Stevens, 3 wins and 3 DNFs. Only repeat winner this year as well, apart from Peter Knapp, of course, who got back-to-back wins in Australia and Germany. Every other race so far this season, apart from those 4, has been won by a different driver. So that could be one to watch out for as well. But it is Saracino taking the pole position. Championship leader Danoff Brandthome starts alongside. Peter Knapp is 3rd, with Oliver Taras in P4. Costas Gallimatis is 5th, with Grisheg Luchak in P6. Nando Massa, great result for him in P7. Matthias Micah in P8. Giuseppe Canzanieri can only manage P9. That's unfortunate for him. With Massimiliano Riboli as well. A disappointing P10 for him. He'll be looking to try and move forward in the race. Purges Miram is P11 with Gerloff de Vries in P12. Hayden Cownan starts in 13th with Sander van Leuven in P14. Oliver Demolians is 15th with Davide Zanini in P16. And Terry Crawford and Cedric Bill, they'll be starting at the back on the 9th row. They did not set a lap. So maybe some issues there for the SimSpark and Go Team drivers. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold as we get ready to go racing. Of course, this is the 8th round of the championship. It is getting down to the dying phase, and the championship is more tense than ever. We're heading to the United States for round number 9, and then, of course, going to Japan for the final round. Heading, of course, to the Circuit of the Americas and then Suzuka to round out the Formula Sim Racing year. And what a year it has been. A very interesting qualifying session there, though, Antoni. Not as close as we are used to seeing it, because Saracino looking absolutely rapid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised. Last time out in Turkey, I believe we had the whole field within a second, if I'm not wrong, in the low grip conditions. Made for a really interesting qualifying. But here, this time around, the gaps are quite big, and Saracino just in a different league completely. Not something usual for Academy. I'm not sure what is the cause behind this. could be maybe, you know, could even be something like the temperatures. I mean, this time around, as you noticed, Ross, the race will be starting at 7 a.m. So as you saw, the sun completely different here, temperatures completely different compared to what the drivers are used to. And actually, this will make for an interesting race as well, as the race temperatures evolve and go up drastically during the race. So, yeah, not really sure what to add there, honestly, Ross. Really surprising here today.
Yeah, it was a great lap from Saracino. Maybe the temperature's playing into his advantage, but we do know he is a man who loves fast circuits, loves the big corners. Of course, taking victory in Bahrain and then at San Marino as well. So maybe this is a circuit that just really suits his style. Of course, as you said, Antoni, starting at 7 a.m, which means we do have the sun, unlike the rain, which is seemingly engulfing most of Europe at the moment, despite the fact we're in June, bizarrely enough. So we do have the sun, but much, much cooler temperatures. The track temp in that qualifying session, only 14 degrees Celsius. So not very warm out there. Maybe he was just able to get his tyres in a bit of a better place as well. We've just had a bit of an update in the live stream chat. A big thank you to the SimSport guys letting us know Terry Crawford chose not to set a lap because he has a feeling that on the opening few turns it's going to be a bit of a crash fest, as we do sometimes find at Spa. It must be said, in sim racing, it is a difficult circuit on the opening lap. So Terry choosing to pick his way through the possible wreckages and try and get out and see what he can do. So, as we are just getting to the end of the warm-up session, of course, drivers just making sure that everything is working and we are set to go racing. Again, if you are just joining us, you join myself, Ross McIntyre, with Antoni Nicpon alongside me in the commentary box and also on the cameras as well. An 18-car grid to look forward to here in the Academy Championship of the Formula Sim Racing 2024 season. Of course, this isn't all of the racing that we've got today. After this, we of course have the Pro Series and then the World Championship to look forward to. So plenty of action from some of sim racing's finest drivers in rFactor 2. And of course, championships hotting up everywhere you look. So make sure you stay tuned in and make sure you let us know as well who you're supporting. Who do you think is going to come out on top, not just in this race, but in the other two races that are coming later this afternoon as well. Should be very, very exciting. Warm-up has come to a close, so the drivers will make their way out onto the grid. Of course, standard procedure, one formation lap will be a rather long formation lap, given how long Spa is at 7 kilometers. And then it'll be the red lights, and we shall go racing for 31 laps around here at one of the finest tracks in the world. Again, I said earlier, steeped in history. We've had so many great names taking wins here, not just in real life, but in Formula Sim Racing as well, of course. In 2023, we saw Thomas Schmidt taking a great win. 2022, George Zalagianis in that fantastic season he had, taking his final win of the season. And 2021, Damien Scouron taking a great win here as well. Again, the stats don't lie. The last 3 times we've been to Spa, because we didn't come in 2020, the winner of this race has gone on to take the Academy Championship. So if you're a superstitious individual, that could be one to watch out for. But Antoni, coming into the race now, what's the game plan for these drivers? Is it kind of now just sit, get focused, make sure everything's working and you're happy with the strategy? Last few discussions with your engineers and the team, and then time to go racing.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan leading into this should be definitely to keep your nerves low and stay focused on what's ahead. In some way, this kind of connects with what you said about Terry Crawford starting at the back to avoid the incidents. But given the nature of the Academy series, given the nature of this track as well, this is something you just, if you're going to be stressed out that you're going to be crashing on the first lap, and that's all that's going to be in your head, you're probably going to end up in one of those crashes anyway, just with how fortune goes. So main thing going into this, keeping your nerves low, confirming based on your grid position what you're going to do with the strategy, and going into that. But I do have to ask you, Ross, now that we're almost there, we're almost at the grid, what are your predictions for this race? Who are we going to see on top today? And will it maybe connect to what you were saying with your stat?
Well, time will tell. I think Saracino is going to be tough to beat on pace alone. He was just looking so fast in practice and qualifying. But again, a very, very strong grid of drivers around him. Danov Brantham as well. On the front row of the grid, the championship leader, he'll be looking to try and take his second win of the year. Peter Knapp and Cedric Bill, of course, around. Cedric Bill, though, maybe not up the front as he'd like, didn't set a lap in qualifying. But we do have that very tricky turn one down at La Source. Very difficult to navigate that when you've got a lot of other cars also trying to crawl around on cold tyres at the start of the race. And then that huge run up through Eau Rouge and Radion and down the Kemmel Straight where you'll be banging off the rev limiter. That's where the overtake's going to be on the first lap. It's all about trying really to set yourself up for the braking zone down into Lecom and then just trying to hold on and not making mistakes, hitting your marks, and as well not running wide. It's very, very easy to go outside of track limits here at Spa. And that is something you do want to be trying to avoid. But the drivers are now making their way to the grid. I think, to be honest, Antoni, the only thing we can say for certain is it's going to be brilliant. Giuseppe Saracino starts on pole position with Danov Brantham alongside. Peter Knapp is in P3 with Oliver Taras alongside, completing the second row of the grid. Kostas Galanamartis is fifth with Gresheg Luchak in P6. Nandor Marta and Tijus Micah are P7 and 8. A great pair of qualifying sessions for them. They'll be trying to go forward in the race. Giuseppe Canzanieri and Massimiliano Raboli round out the top 10 with Purges Miram in P11 and Gerlof de Vries. A great result for him in the Evo car. He starts in P12. P13 is Hayden Cownan with Sander van Leuven in P14. Oliver Demolians is P15 with Davide Zanini. A disappointing P16 for the Italian. I'm sure the Team GG driver would love to move forward as well. And Terry Crawford and Cedric Bill, they ran out our grid of 18 drivers. They did not set a lap in qualifying, especially surprising for Cedric Bill. Maybe some strategy trying to avoid possible first lap chaos and see if they can slice their way through the grid. But the drivers out on their formation lap now. So we're on board with our pole sitter, Saracino. Again, the man with 2 wins and 3 DNFs to his name so far this season. Can he make it 3 apiece? Himself and Peter Knapp, the only repeat winners so far this year. 2 for Saracino, 3 for Peter Knapp with that great win last time out at the Istanbul Park. But Peter Knapp starts directly behind him. Interesting to see their strategy as well. Brantham on the mediums, Galilem Artist on the softs, Taras on the mediums as well. A great split there between the hards and the mediums up the front. Galilem Artist the only driver on the softs. Now Spa traditionally not too harsh on the tyres, despite its high-speed natures, but making the tyres last is crucial here because it's such a long lap. If you run out of tyres and you make a mistake and you miss your pit box or whatever, it's a long way back trying to keep the car on the black stuff. But now it's time to focus in, Antoni. Again, La Source, very, very tricky corner down at turn 1. So surely it's more about on the first lap, just trying to survive, trying to avoid the accidents, and then you can really start racing when the field starts to spread out.
Yeah, for sure. But on the other hand, with La Source, we've seen so many instances going on there, not just in sim racing, in real life as well. All we can hope for, Ross, I think, as the leader makes his way now to the grid, is that we have a clean turn 1, a clean race, and some good racing going on today for these 31 laps.
Track temperature is creeping up to 15 degrees Celsius already. The sun slowly rising, and the drivers getting ready to go. Our 18 driver field pulls in, and that looks like there is no Danov Brantham in P2. Brantham in the pit lane, so Danov might be starting from the pits. He might also be trying to avoid some chaos on the opening lap. So we've got drama before the lights even go out, but the driver's now getting ready. Saracino sits alone on the front of the grid and takes the green flag. We are underway. Gets away well to Saracino. Peter Knapp also gets a good launch down into turn 1. We hurtle. Is it going to be clean through La Source? I believe it will be, as there's lots of wheel banging in the back of your picture, but Saracino already trying to bolt away as we blast through Eau Rouge and up the hill into Radion. And now the Kemmel Straight, now just all about using that straight line speed. Big one in the background. We've got a big crash, but up the front, super tight onto the grass. I believe that was Galilem Artist going off the road there, getting squeezed by Peter Knapp. And he loses out. Oliver Taras able to slide into P3. Unfortunately, we have lost Micah and Miram on that opening lap incident coming up through Radion. We saw it at the back of the picture, just cars and carbon flying everywhere as we now run through Bruxelles. Dirty air making it difficult through that section of the racetrack. It's so easy to get understeer. Let's get a replay of what happened on the opening lap. Here is Purges Miram coming through. Oh, and just touches Micah into the barrier. Hard they go, shooting across the racetrack. Great avoiding action by the rest of the field, although a few more drivers caught up in the instant. No one else looks to have retired. Daniel Brandt, well, starting from the pit lane, he was nearly involved in that one. Lucky boy to get away with it. Now he's got to focus and carve his way through the rest of the pack. But, Antoni, that's just not what you want to see. A very, very big crash on the opening lap as Saracino already leads by 2 seconds.
No chance of taking him now, but one person, I mean, I was going to say to you just before the race, Ross, this is Dano Brandtholm's race to lose. And look who's gone up from P9, I believe, to P2 already. That's Peter Knapp. Already, if I'm not wrong, making up 7 positions on the first lap, while his championship rival, who qualified on the front row, is having to make his way up the field. I think it's turned around, the tide has turned around. This is now Peter Knapp's race to lose.
Well, it was a very surprising decision from Danov Brandtholm to stay in the pit lane at the start and not take his position on P2, the front row of the grid. And as you say, Peter Knapp is already now trying to cut away into Saracino's advantage. It was 2 seconds at the end of lap 1. It's now 1.7. Of course, it's still early doors in this race, only lap number 2 of 31. But a very interesting decision from Daniel Brandtholm, and maybe one that will backfire big time. Because there's only 1 point between himself and Knapp. Essentially, whoever finishes in front of those two is in front of the championship. Cedric Bill as well, another driver. You're just thinking, why, oh why did you start from the back of the grid? Those guys are in a hotly contested championship fight. And, well, you may have avoided some accidents, but it's possible points you're throwing away there as we follow around Davide Zanini. And a great couple of opening laps so far. Works his way up the field into P9 already is the Italian. Great job from him to get his way through. The drivers already starting to settle into a rhythm, as you can see. Just starting to spread out a little bit. Again, I'm sure we'll be seeing the medium runners maybe just starting to conserve their tyres a little bit already. But as we go on board with Canzonieri, the Team GG driver maybe gets a good run into the bus stop, a bit too far back to launch an attack this time, but getting ever closer, maybe trying to launch one coming into Les Combes if he can set up the moves. And he got close to Van Leuven there on the brakes, but a bit of a squirrely entry into the chicane. And unfortunately, that means that he's just lost out on that time. Well, he did gain. Cedric Bill has managed to slide into the top 10, and Daniel Brandtholm is very, very close behind. And Peter Knapp is even closer behind Saracino up the front of the pack as well. It is really, really close. There are the leading pair, in fact, as they come onto the Kemmel Straight. Peter Knapp is right up the tailpipe of Saracino. Oliver Taris there as well. DRS, of course, now open. But no one able to make a move at the moment as they come through the Kemmel Straight. This is already turning out to be like a game of chess. But who has got the checkmate? Who is going to be able to out-tactic their opponents and race smart and race hard and use the strategy to their advantage? It is anybody's guess. Taris gained massively coming through Bruxelles there and flying through No Name. A little bit wide there from Peter Knapp. Again, Knapp, though, as it stands. Oh, into the wall hard. Who's that? That is Van Leuven coming through No Name. That's a big crash, and that is out of the race.
Wow, let's see what happened to him there, as we'll try and get an onboard. Going into No Name, must have just had a snap of oversteer if I had to guess.
Lost on the
on
entry. That's a very weird one. I think he just took a bit too much curb on the right-hand side. Of course, running a new damage model this year in FSR, it is much more ruthless. It is so much easier to get race-ending damage, and it is so much easier to have your race ruined by little incidents. Canzonieri, though, his race certainly isn't over because he's on the move. Is Peter Knapp on the move as well? Because Saracino, that pace that he was showing in qualifying and practice and on the opening lap as they start the 4th tour of 31, suddenly he's getting a bit of a train forming behind him. Peter Knapp, Oliver Taras, Gallen and Martis, all very, very close. All a bit slow out of last source there from Peter Knapp. Taras, though, didn't have to stand on the anchors, but he did have to let off the throttle pedal. Fly through Eau Rouge and Radion. What a picturesque corner that is. Just one of the most beautiful places in racing, as we saw on lap 1, can be a bit dangerous as well if you get it wrong. Peter Knapp, though, using his DRS, deciding to go defensive. He's trying to break the toe of Oliver Taras. Taras to the outside, backs out of the move. So Peter Knapp may be focusing on defending more than trying to attack Saracino. That's going to give Saracino some breathing room backwards. Wow, we've got a real train forming on our hands. I don't think we expected this when we came into this race, Antoni. You know, we were expecting Saracino to disappear off into the distance and it to be very much a race more of strategy and just trying to keep it on the road. But look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, all within fighting distance. This is going to get very, very tasty.
For sure, I mean, with Saracino, it's exactly what you said. We thought he'd just run away with this, but it's only a second the gap. And Peter Knapp is so close to the DRS range, and I think he was, for the most part anyway, just having to defend against Taras before. 7 cars in the lead pack. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we want to see, you know? With, of course, starting from Peter Knapp, who, as it turns out, started from P3, as was kindly brought to my attention. Not sure where the P9 came from my mouth. But yeah, gap down from 1.1 all the way down to the DRS range again for Peter Knapp. It's continuing on, but this does put the championship leader Dano Brandholm in an interesting precedence, Ross, because 5 seconds to the leading pack. Is there anything he can do to overturn this?
Well, it's still early doors in this race, and we know Brandholm has pace on board that Valet eSports machine. But is it enough? Does he have enough time? Again, we've seen heroics like this before at Spa in FSR. Drivers coming from the pit lane and carving their way through the pack, but has Brandholm maybe bitten off more than he can chew? As Peter Knapp tries to have a look on Saracino. Close, but not close enough on that occasion as we now head through the twists and turns of Les Combes and down into Bruxelles. Probably the hardest corner on this track, just 180-degree radius off camber downhill, so easy just to pile on the understeer even if you don't, or should I say you overtrust the front tyre, and it can really cook the outside front as well if you're not careful. Now Pouon, of course, flat out nowadays in a modern Formula car, but still one that requires a lot of guts, a lot of bravery to make your way through there, as we are on board, of course, with Giuseppe Canzonieri in the Team GG car. What can he do? He's had a great opening few laps, as we are on currently lap 5 at 31, been carving his way through the field. Behind, though, oh! Big one, Nando Marsa down and out. That was huge.
Wow.
Another victim claimed by the circuit Spa-Francorchamps, and another huge crash. That was absolutely massive from Nando Marsa heading out of Stavolo. What happened there? Did he again just... oh, the rear just went. That is bizarre. And hard into the wall goes Nando Marsa. What a shame. He was having a great race. But that was absolutely almighty. Here's Hayden Cownan as well, as something happened to him coming through Les Combes. Ooh, looking a bit squirrely and into the wall and potentially out of the race as well as Cownan. And looks like stuck in the barrier. Well, that is another shocking change of events. Only 13 drivers left in this race, Antoni, but look at that. Half of them are in the top 6 and half of them are fighting for the race lead.
Well, it's good news for Dano Brandholm, but wow, Spa takes yet another victim. 18 starters this race. We're only 6 laps in, and we've already had 5 victims. All, except for the lap 1 incident, all in separate incidents, and all seeming to have some issues with the curbs or with the oversteer on this track. So, who is next, Ross? Who is next?
Well, time will tell, but you know, it is the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge this year, which took place around this circuit in the Ardennes. And Spa still claiming victims to this day. Clearly 5 down and out, 13 drivers left to run. on lap 6 of 31. Gallilamartis, those soft tyres maybe not quite doing the job that he would have wanted of them. Is the British driver Oliver Tarras maybe trying to have a go, but he's a little bit far back to challenge into the bus stop. Up the front, Peter Knapp has caught back up to Saracino. The attacks from behind have faded away just a little bit. Look at that, just 6 cars, nose to tail. This is brilliant action here in round 8 of the FSR Academy Series at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Running into La Source then on lap 7 of 31. Let's see if we can try and have a clean lap this time. Try and have a lap where there's no DNFs. Look at how close Peter Knapp is. This is going to be the best opportunity he's going to have for a move if he doesn't suffer from the dirty air through Eau Rouge and Radion. A little bit of curb on the right-hander. Will have the DRS. Does he have enough, though, is the question. Enough straight line speed, because Saracino, look at that, in a straight line. No DRS, and Peter Knapp cannot catch him. So Saracino clearly advocating for straight line speed over everything else. Oh, and another drive around. That's Canzonieri. Not in the wall, as Brantham has to take avoiding action. Up to P6 already, though, for Danov Brantham. But Canzonieri, a little spin coming through Les Comps. It is very easy to drop the car there. Unfortunately, Canzonieri drops out of that lead battle. Then there were 5. Oliver Tarras and De Vries making up the rear of that train. Oh, and that's Riboli. Massimiliano Riboli has had an off, able to continue, but no front wing, potential suspension damage. What is going on here at Spa? Does anyone want to finish this race? Let's go on board, see what happened. Looks like a big kick of oversteer. Oh, that's bizarre. Another strange, lazy oversteer spin. And Riboli caught out that time, sending him into the wall. But he'll be able to continue, but it's a long way back to the pit lane. And of course, he will come out P13 and last of the runners. Cedric Bill, he's been able to make his way forward, but not as much as the likes of Brantham. So what can he do? He's trying to chase down the Panini, Davide Zanini, heading into the bus stop. Is he maybe brave enough to try and launch up the inside? He has a think about it. Decides against it, though, just a little bit too far back from the Italian on that occasion. Let's go back to our battle for the lead, though. Is Peter Knapp going to be able to get the run this time? We'll see as they head through Eau Rouge and Radion. The lead battle starting to spread out just a little bit on lap 8. And once again, it looks like Peter Knapp just doesn't have the straight line speed. And that's really interesting, Antoni, because it shows that Saracino, even without DRS, his car is fast enough in a straight line to just hold on to that lead, and that can be crucial heading into the pit stops.
Yeah, you would think. Is this just simply a difference of the setup philosophies going into this race, with Saracino potentially going for higher top speeds compared to Peter Knapp? Something that we'd have to check. But so far, Peter Knapp having good runs, especially in the corners, closing up in Sector 2 and Sector 3. But then when they get out of Turn 1, he just can't do anything. You would also think, partly there, not sure if you noticed this, but in Eau Rouge, little bits of corrections that Peter Knapp has to make as well, thanks to the dirty air. So Saracino is in a great position to go from this, especially with him and Peter Knapp both on the hard tires and leading the pack as it stands.
They are starting to pull away from Gallilamartis on the softs and Tarras and De Vries on the mediums. And keep your eye on that track temperature in the top right of your picture. Currently fluctuating around about 17 degrees Celsius. The track is quite cold, which is maybe why it's so slippery, but it is still rising. Again, in game, we started this race at 7 a.m. So the sun is just going to get higher. The track is just going to heat up. So on board once again with Peter Knapp. Let's see how his traction is out of La Source. He takes a bit of a tighter line than Saracino. And yeah, just struggling for traction a bit, should I say. So maybe that's not helping him down the straight. Oh, look how committed Giuseppe Saracino is through Eau Rouge, going over the curves and into the dirt. On to the Kemmel Straight then. DRS will be wide open for Peter Knapp. But again, just not gaining enough to challenge down into Les Comps. Very much going to be a race of who blinks first between this pair. A Mexican standoff, if you will. As there we see Tarras still trying. Actually, De Vries has made his way through Tarras. So he'll be trying to get his way back through. De Vries having the race of his season so far, and I say that, it's only his second race of the season, but up into P4, great stuff there for him. The Dutchman is having a phenomenal run so far. Let's see if he can continue that one going forward as we continue to follow this lead fight around. Again, it has just stretched out a little bit, the gaps between the pair of them. But Peter Knapp, he's still there, Antoni. Maybe at this point he's thinking if he can try and change up his attack and try and challenge for the lead somewhere else, because clearly down into Lecom it's not working.
I mean, Ross, to be honest, where else if not into Lecom? Also, the back straight is an opportunity, but it just seems Saracino just has all the momentum going into these straights. I'm not sure if he's just running lower wings, if he has just much better traction out of the corners, but whatever he's doing, it's working for him, you know? I don't know where else he can really get it done. I think that's where you usually get it done, you think, right? Into Lecom, into the final chicane. Other than that, all he can really hope for is maybe to catch him out on strategy, or hope that on the other compounds he'll have the better piece. As we'll have another look to see if this time around he can get something. And the rocket just pulls away.
Once again, lap 10, Saracino going to hold on to the lead he has had from pole position. Knapp this time is closing a bit more than normal, but still not close enough to challenge down into the chicane at Lecom. Here's Danoff Brantham, meanwhile, chasing Canzonieri. Canzonieri actually got through Brantham, doing a bit of toe braking with the DRS. So Canzonieri back up into P6, Brantham falls to P7. And once again, the championship leader, was it a mistake to start from the pit lane voluntarily? If he'd have started in from P2, from the front row of the grid, as he should have done, well, he would have missed all the chaos behind him, and he would have been in an opportunity to be challenging Saracino and Peter Knapp. And Peter Knapp, as it stands, looking to try and take the championship lead if we finish as they are. It's still early on in this race, only lap 10 of 31, so not yet halfway. But you got to be looking at Brantham and thinking, was that the move? Because I'm not sure that it was. Heading out of Stavolo and on the blast, back up the slight crest. Galen Lamartis, those soft tyres still meaning he's able to hold on to the back of this lead pack. What was 6 drivers, then it was 5, now seemingly 3 fighting for the win, but Galen Lamartis seemingly just not quite got the pure pace to challenge. Is a big lock up there from the Greek driver down in P3. Big shame for him. Let's hope that wasn't a massive flat spot. Peter Knapp once again getting close into the bus stop and losing out in the traction zones. Let's see, back on board with Saracino looking back. You can just see he pulls away at the exit of the corner. Peter Knapp still close, still within 4/10. Is it close enough as we run up Eau Rouge and through Rally onto the top of the hill? It looks a bit closer than Knapp has been before. Will the DRS benefit him on this occasion? I don't think it will. Move maybe in the background though. That's Taras on De Vries to the inside, so Knapp will hold on. Can Taras slide on through? Yes, he can. Gets it done before the braking zone. So Oliver Taras back up into P4 goes the Briton. Nice textbook maneuver there. De Vries though having a great race, and these two, they're still battling, Antoni, so it could very much go all the way, the pair of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there seems to be a lot of swapping going around. I think you have to be saving up all of your ERS for that last source move. And maybe in the case of De Vries as well, who made that move for P4 a few laps back on Taras, and now they've swapped again. It's almost curious. Peter Knapp, is he saving his ERS for a potential later move? Or is he just not able to get up close? Because everyone else seems to be switching positions around them.
Yeah, it's possible that the Slovak is just saving his ERS and trying to be smart. Peter, he does race smart. That's why he's the only driver so far this season with 3 wins to his name. And maybe he's just trying to play the long game with Giuseppe Saracino, trying to play it smart, wait for the race to unfold, wait for a story to pan out before he makes his move. As that in the background, that is Kostas Galanamartis diving into the pit lane on lap number 11. Those soft tyres clearly running out. They weren't doing him enough of a job anyway to really challenge the leaders. Let's stay on board, see what tyres the Netrex driver goes onto. And it looks like it's going to be a set of the hards for Gala Namatis. So he will come in, he will head back out once again and continue his charge forward. Looking like he's going to come out around about P8. It might be alongside Greshek Lucek. Actually, Lucek has just slid ahead, I think. No, he hasn't. That is Lucek behind. But of course, cold tyres, cold brakes for Gala Namatis. Lucek has the run out of the last source proper as well. Maybe this is an opportunity to get ahead of the Netrex driver for Lucek. But is he too far back? I think he might be. Look at the dash, got 328 kilometers an hour there, right at the top of the rev range, just over 200 miles an hour, but not close enough is the Go Team driver. He'll have to settle for P8, but it is hard for Gala Namatis, so he's trying to go long on this second stint, maybe try and pull the alternative strategy there. He might be able to make them last to the end if he races smart and he's good on his tyres. So maybe Lucek trying to, or Gala Namatis should I say, trying to play the long game, trying to be smart here, Antoni.
Well, you'd think Gala Namatis by now will try and take these tires to the end. Not sure on the exact specifics on this tire life, but if he was going for a two-stop, right, you'd think he's going for mediums again. So potentially now that Gala Namatis has 3.5 seconds of clean air in front of him, by the time the medium runners come in, he might just have a lot of clean air, get that undercut done on. And it's quite a long lap to get it done on as well. So let's keep an eye on those runners in front of him and see what they're going to do. I'm especially interested in the medium runners, but you'd think they're going to one-stop as well, right?
Yeah, you'd expect that those on the mediums will try and eke out a one-stop, so stop onto the hards, surely in the next couple of laps. And of course, Saracino and Peter Knapp, who come on your screen now, we're expecting them to one-stop. Absolutely all Peter Knapp here. This time he's got the run. This time, Peter Knapp, it took him 13 laps, but finally takes the lead of the race, finally pulls the pin and launches the move and gets out in front of Saracino. What can the pole sitter do? Can the Italian find a way back through the man who is looking to leave this round with the championship lead? The Gothenburg GP driver. That was lovely. He's bided his time. He's waited for the moment to pull the trigger. And he saw the opportunity and grasped it with both hands. Peter Knapp into the lead of the race. Can he now try and pull away from Giuseppe Saracino? Can Saracino in the Go Team car try and hold on to the back? Maybe it was a strategic decision. Maybe Saracino thinking about his tyres, letting Peter Knapp go through, just conserving a bit more, but the two of them still very, very close on the run out of Stavolo. De Vries still close to the back of Oliver Taras as well. So Peter Knapp takes the lead of the race. And you've got to be looking once again, Antoni, at Danoff Brandthome, the championship leader, down in P5. Peter Knapp could be having the most comfortable championship lead we've seen in a while here in the Academy Championship if he takes the win.
Yeah, I mean... well, I don't even know what to comment on this, honestly. For Peter Knapp, I think this is head down now. But Saracino, he does have that little spell behind him, doesn't he? Where, well, if we're going to go off historical records, he's either going to win this or he's going to DNF. Or he's going to break the curse. But it's still so close. And if anything, I'm honestly surprised, Ross, how starting on the hardest compound, these two, look at the gap to Taras right now. You can barely see him in the background right now. So these two are just on another level. It's surely going to be one of these two who's going to win this race now.
Just goes to show the talent on display here in the Academy Championship. Of course, this is the third tier, the entry-level tier into the Formula Sim Racing World Championship ladder. So we do expect the field gap to be a little bit larger than up in the Pro Series and the World Championship. Hence, you've got, drivers up the front who are, shall we say, significantly further along in their development than those perhaps down the back of the grid. But still, Peter Knapp and Saracino putting on a display for us here at Spa-Francorchamps. And this battle continues to rage. Even if they're not going wheel to wheel, corner to corner, it's tense. And it is very, very tight out on the track. Saracino, I'm sure, trying to fill the mirrors of Peter Knapp, as Knapp was trying to do to him for 13 laps. Track temperature creeping up once again, now 18 degrees. So the grip should surely be starting to come into this circuit, of course, as the drivers continue to run round. They'll be using up fuel as well, so the car will be lighter. So again, a bit quicker through all the corners as well. What can Saracino do? Can he hold on as we start the 15th lap? Almost halfway through this race. It has absolutely flown by. I believe in the background we did just see Oliver Taras diving into the pit lane. And yes, we did. So the first of our medium runners from that block coming in. Let's wait and see what tyres he goes on to. Let's wait and see if Saracino can get a run coming out of Eau Rouge and Radion. Up the hill they climb. Of course, you can't see anything when you're heading through Eau Rouge in an actual racing car with the visor on. All you can see is sky, and you've just got to trust that the track is where you think it is. Saracino, can he find his way through? Getting very, very close to the back end of Peter Knapp, but deciding not to go for it. Taras out on the hards on this time, and let's have a replay here. What's going on? This is Terry Crawford. Oh, 3 wheels on the wagon for Terry Crawford. You're supposed to have 4, but I mean, if you can make it back to the pits, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
if you hit escape back to the pits in FSR, that is a DNF. What happened to Terry? Did he just lose it? Oh, that's a very, very strange accident. Hard into the wall as well, but looks like he's going to make it back. That is absolutely fine. You're allowed to repair the car, so a very strange incident there for Terry Crawford in the SimSpark.
Yeah, I'm hearing that he had some issues repairing that as well, running for 2 laps without with only 3 wheels, but as far as I can see, he has not DNF'd yet, so must have been able to repair that, Terry. As we go back to the leaders now, Ross.
Yeah, well, great to see Terry still competing in this race and not another DNF. Saracino right on the tailpipe of Peter Knapp as we look back from the race leader and as it stands, championship leader in the live standings. A little bit of a wobble from the Italian, though, on the exit of the corner, was not able to get the power down. That, I believe, was De Vries in the background diving into the pits as well. Canzonieri, it's actually updated on our timing tower. Onto the soft tyres once again. Canzonieri maybe 2-stopping. Very, very interesting there. I'm expecting De Vries to go onto the hards. Indeed, he does. Those mediums were looking rather knackered, must be said. Leaves Cedric Bill the only runner out there on the mediums at the moment. Of course, Bill is Taras back into the pits. Oh, Oliver Taras has come back in.
He got a penalty for exceeding the pit speed.
Oh no!
During his first stop. So unfortunate for Taras, but another fortunate position gain for Daniel Brandholm, who will be looking to minimize starting in the pit lane.
Yeah, that is a real shame for Oliver Taras, who was having a great run, but Daniel Brandholm, it's another position for him after his pit lane start. As you said, Antoni, it's so tight up the front. If you're just joining us, you are, well, you're watching, should I say, a brilliantly fantastic, tense race between Peter Knapp and the pole sitter Giuseppe Saracino. Of course, this is your first time watching FSR. Make sure that you like and share and subscribe and all of that to get these drivers out there. Make sure you head over to the FSR forums as well to find out how to get involved if you yourself are a sim racer and fancy showing what you can do on the biggest stage of them all. On board with Saracino as we blast through Blanchimont. Look at the run for Saracino and backs out of it. There was a very big lift off there from Giuseppe Saracino. That is interesting. Canzonieri then on the soft compound of rubber. Up the inside of Gallen and Martis, so they're going to be side by side through Blanchimont. Oh, brave stuff. But Canzonieri gets it done. Leaders into the pit lane. All right, both of them in on the same lap. Medium tyres for Peter Knapp. We'd expect the same from Saracino, who wins the race off pit road. It will be Peter Knapp. Again, his pit box just slightly earlier, but Saracino still right on his tail. Looks like medium tyres for both of them. Cedric Bill inherits the lead of the race, but he is yet to stop, I believe. Oh, look at the wall there from Saracino. They come up behind Gallen.
No way! Gallen and Martis has undercut both of them.
On the hards as well. So Gallen and Martis actually has gained that place with a big undercut. So Gallen and Martis into the lead of the race. But it's very, very close between, once again, you've got the top 5 neck and neck. Greshek Luchak at the back of your picture as well. The race is coming alive here in the pit cycles. And, well, it says there, Saracino actually on the mediums with Peter. Oh, no, that is what we expected. Apologies, getting my tyre compounds mixed up. But Gallon Martis, great job from him to jump ahead of Peter Knapp and Saracino there, Antoni. But he's on the hard tyres. Can he stay in front for the rest of this race?
Well, I think it's down to the driver, isn't it? We saw in the first stint, Peter Knapp and Giuseppe Saracino on those hard tyres in a world of their own, completely. Great pace, but there was one man who was keeping pace with them, as you remember, and that was Gallon Martis, who was just slowly, quietly in the background. And right now, he has a 1.4 second gap. There isn't even DRS for Peter Knapp and Saracino on Gallon Martis, so it's going to be interesting how this unfolds as Canzonieri trying to go here. No, it looks like Cedric Bill deploying and probably trying to help out his teammate in Saracino here, as Canzonieri needs that position if he wants to make that two-stop work.
That was neck and neck racing, wasn't it? Bill pushing the defence very, very hard. They're using the RS and just leaving enough room. Canzonieri to the outside though and gets it done on the brakes into last source, but it's not done yet. Bill will have the DRS. Canzonieri on that soft rubber. Can he make it stick with the traction? As we now get ready to head up Eau Rouge and Radion. We're looking back from Gallon Martis, who is in the net lead of the race. And look at the run there that Cedric Bill's got on Canzonieri coming up through Radion. Trying to break the toe is the Team GG driver. To the outside goes Cedric Bill. Oh, that is aggressive from Canzonieri. Pushing the Frenchman onto the grass. Just trying to take the line into the corner. And that has cost Cedric Bill a whole heap of time as well. And I wonder if that one may be going to the stewards afterwards. Again, those two are the other two that are really in this championship fight at the moment. We've got, of course, Brantham and Peter Knapp on 103 and 102 points. Cedric Bill's on 91. Giuseppe Canzonieri is only on 89. So this is hotting up here at Spa. And not just in terms of track temperature, the action out there is absolutely superb. FSR at its absolute finest. And we've still got a decent distance to go in this race. That is Saracino on the rear of Peter Knapp. They've closed right up to the back of Gallon Martis. Maybe Antoni trying to launch a move, but Canzonieri, that move has allowed him a big buffer. 2 seconds back now is the gap, but that was very, very aggressive.
Yeah, for sure. Will probably be looked at by the stewards later, especially since, Go Team and Gothenburg GP pretty much under the same umbrella here. Probably a win and valuable points in the constructors on the line here. But so far it's working out for Canzonieri, and he's going to need to get a move on right now, unless he's trying to get these softs to the end, but it does not look too likely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be close out there this time as they run up the hill once again. We'll wait and see. Bill, of course, we're expecting to come out on the softs, as we expected. There you go. And here goes Peter Knapp on Gallon Martis, and round he goes. Peter Knapp, P2. That is now... Well, that's a lovely move. Saracino as well, unable to get through. Canzonieri, 2.5 seconds up the road. He's trying to bolt away on that soft compound of rubber and hope that he still has the tyre come the checkered flag. Peter Knapp, though, what can he do? Again, looking to try and lead the championship heading out of this one. Saracino a little bit stuck behind Gallon Martis on the hards at the moment. Saracino, again, a wonderful pole lap, but has not been able to mirror his qualifying pace in the race. He's had to fight, and so far the fighting has not gone his way. Down in P4 on lap number 19 of 31. They head through the chicane there down at campus. Very, very tricky part of the racetrack, and now into Stavolo again, just trying to keep the rear in check so you can get on the throttle as early as you can, just trusting the aero to keep you stuck to the road. Nandor Master, unfortunately, trusted it too much earlier, but these guys are going to go side by side. Oh, this could be brilliant. Oh, never mind, Saracino's in front already, but still a lovely move there by Saracino up into the podium places. Gallon Martis has a look, but can't quite get it done. So Gallon Martis loses 2 places in 1 lap. Now, surely, it's all about Peter Knapp and Saracino. How can they chip away at Canzonieri's advantage up the front?
I think at this point, Ross, it's just a waiting game, isn't it? The softs just probably will not have enough life to get to the end right there. I think they're in a position of advantage right now, where as long as they just wait on it, use the natural attributes of their tires and honestly of their pace advantage over the rest of the field, they're going to get there eventually. No matter what strategy Canzonieri is going for, if he's going to the end, if he's going for a two-stop, I think it's secured for them, honestly.
Well, time will tell. Lap 20 of 31 here at Spa. We've got 13 runners left and a great fight for the victory. Let us know who you think is going to be coming out on top in this one. And let us know who you're supporting as well. I've been seeing a lot of support for the likes of Fernando Massa, although unfortunately down and out in the race. Forever a popular driver. Saracino then trying to close up to Peter Knapp. The pair of them trying to close up to Canzonieri. Track temperature still increasing, 19 degrees now, which could cause a few issues for the soft runners. There we see Massimiliano Raboli, the Valley eSports driver, trying to work his way through Oliver Tarras, who was having a great race until that penalty earlier for speeding in the pit lane. A real shame for him again. Came into FSR Academy with a ban, winning his debut race back at Silverstone, and then has not quite gone the same way since from, unfortunately. A P6 in Imola, but a DNF last time out at Istanbul. And now this time looking to be towards the bottom half of the top 10 following that penalty. Raboli doing a good job at the moment. Again, a driver who I think will be a little bit disappointed with where he's running at the moment. We know he's a lot quicker than that as Canzonieri now comes in. It goes on to the soft rubber for one final stint. He will, of course, be able to make it to the end on those, but it's going to drop him a long way back. Danoff Brantham, he's up into P5 now, potentially challenging Gerloff de Vries for P4. So the Dutchman potentially with a tall ask on his hands. But that means that Peter Knapp and Saracino are now fighting for the race lead. And the pair of them are very close. Canzonieri comes out in a bit of no man's land. You can see Danoff Brantham just ahead of him on track. That actually may be Terry Crawford, apologies. That is Danoff Brantham up into P4 though. Lovely move by the man who was leading the championship coming into this race. Pit lane to P4 is not bad going. But unfortunately, when your championship rival is leading, that is not what you really want, is it? As they come through Bruxelles. Is this potentially, Antoni, the race that Danoff Brantham will rue come the end of the year?
I think so, especially missing that one round, which was crucial in such a title fight. I mean, right now, I think, honestly, Peter Knapp has been the better driver all season so far. Just a bit unlucky, especially in Singapore with that crash. And this is the kind of races that you're going to look back on as Danoff Brantham, you know, that missed race where he could have done those extra points in a bigger buffer zone. This race where he qualified in P2 and started in the pit lane, it's just super unfortunate for him. But, you know, if there's one thing we know about Academy, you know, even if it stays as it is, Brantham has done really good damage control, no doubt about that. And there's still 2 rounds to go where he can make it up, where he can be the better, faster driver, as he has been in different races this season, and where things can go wrong for Peter Knapp as well.
That's very true. Even though there's only 2 rounds left, they're 2 long rounds, of course, and as always in FSR, it can all change on the flip of a coin, and you can have yourself in a situation that you would not have expected. Lap 22 of 31. Knapp still leads Saracino. Saracino a little bit further back at the moment. He was very close last time out, as here we see that is Danoff Brantham under pressure from de Vries. Of course, they swapped places last lap in this place. De Vries, though, still keeping him very honest. And may I say, Gerloff de Vries is having a fantastic race. So a big congratulations to him for all his running so far. And doing a much better job than his, shall we say, his namesake out in real motorsports did in Formula 1, shall we say. But Peter Knapp and Saracino still fighting up the front, 4 tenths between them and nothing left on the table. It is guns ablaze for the remainder of this race. Who's got it? Who's got the pace? Who's got the tricks up their sleeve? Who's got the bravery to make the move? Who, well, we'll wait and see, but one of these two is surely going to be finishing on top. Of course, they are our only repeat winners so far this year. Peter Knapp has 3 to his name, looking for a 4th in the championship lead. Saracino looking to make it 3 wins to match his 3 DNFs and make it all evens. Oh, that was very, very slow there on the exit of the right from Peter Knapp, but a big kick out of the throttle as well at the exit of the corner. So once again, Peter Knapp will just about hold on. Can Saracino get a good run, use that ERS up the Kemmel Straight? That's what we saw him do on the early portions of this race. Is he going to be close enough? Because it looks like Knapp also using his ERS, also trying to defend. Lap 23 of 31. Saracino will have the DRS. Is he close enough? I'm not sure he quite will be. As they rush down towards Lake Como. Once again, Peter Knapp just a bit too far in front of Giuseppe Saracino. So at this point, Antoni, Saracino, he's in a very similar position to what Peter Knapp was in earlier. So Knapp potentially knows what the guy behind is going through. What does he have to do to try and get through?
I think he just has to keep doing what he was doing earlier, right? He had those superior exits, Saracino, compared to Knapp. And if he wants to get past, he's going to have to look at doing that again. But in general, it's going to be difficult anyway. 8 laps to go, 7 when we cross the line. I think generally Peter Knapp is just a better driver when it comes to the tire conservation than Saracino. If anything, honestly, I don't think there's much you can do. I mean, Peter Knapp is just a different level of driver, honestly.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. As we now on the run up to Blanchemont, these two, it's like a tactical card game almost. You know, they're not trading blows. They're just sitting there waiting to see, oh, look at the speed drop off from Peter Knapp. But they're just sitting, waiting, seeing what the other driver's trying to do. It's all very much testing each other's bluff as Canzonieri up the inside of De Vries. That is brave. That is brilliant from Giuseppe Canzonieri on the soft compounder rubber up the inside of Gerloff De Vries. And now he's got Danov Branthon, the super Swede, up in front as well. The 2-stopper onto the softs may have taken him out of contention for the win, but he's certainly in contention for P4 and a great haul of points. And crucially, finishing in front of his championship rival Cedric Bill as well. That'll move him up to P3 in the championship as it gets ever closer. Saracino once again not close enough on this tour. Lap 24 of 31. Here we do see Canzonieri. Can he try and get through Danov Branthon? This will close him into the championship leader as well if he's able to work his way through. Look at the warp speed to the inside. Branthon sweeps around though, says no. Does the Valet eSports driver, using his defensive abilities to hold back the Italian, the fast-charging stallion behind. But the soft-shed Canzonieri is still going to try and find a way through in the twists and turns of the middle sector. But the man who comes into this race, leading the championship, Danov Branthon, the super Swede. He wants desperately to hold on to that P4 after starting from the pit lane. A decision he made on his own to try and avoid any chaos on lap 1. Well, he avoided the chaos, but he's now looking like he might lose out on the championships. Here is Oliver Demolians trying to challenge Massimiliano Riboli, which I believe Riboli may have got through because he had the DRS, so it actually was Riboli working his way up into P10. Canzonieri still there. Tell you what, it may have taken him out of the contention for the win, Antoni. Oh, is he going to try the same move again? Oh, Canzonieri, that is beautiful. Using the DRS up the inside. As I was saying, Antoni, the 2-stopper may have taken him out of contention for the win, but he is absolutely flying right now.
Yeah, he is making the most of his strategy, that's for sure. 2 beautiful moves within 2 laps. Canzonieri has been having a quietly very good season, and 7 seconds off. Whoa, is that something?
Everything
losing
okay?
there? Yeah, something losing connection there to the broadcast machine, but interesting there.
Well,
I think
we'll carry on anyway. I'm sure everything is absolutely fine. Just looking at the lap times, so Canzonieri does have the fastest lap of the race, a 1:47.488. That's a second quicker than anybody else out on the circuit. Of course, but he has spent more time in the pit lane. Still, the speed Canzonieri's displaying on that softer compound of rubber, absolutely ludicrous. Up to P4 with 2 wonderful moves past Brandtholm and De Vries. And now he might be a bit too far back to try and challenge Gallen Martis for the podium. He's got about 6 laps left. Need to find around 6 seconds just to catch him. But is it enough? Let's have a look at the lap times. Last lap, Canzonieri was a 1:49.2. And Gallen Martis a 1:49.8. So maybe too little too late for Canzonieri to get onto the podium. As, oh, hang on a minute. We're back in the pit lane. And potentially having some server issues by the looks of things here. We'll wait and see what's going on. We'll let you know. But we'll wait and see what is going on. I believe we are just having a few issues here, so apologies for that. Again, sometimes these things, they're out of our control. So we aim to get them fixed as quick as we can. But yeah, it does look like we are having a bit of a server issue. If it's not server, possibly. So the server is fine, we're being told. So we're just having a few moments here. So we'll keep you updated with the live timing for the time being. It is still Peter Knapp that leads this race from Saracino in P2. They're still 1 and 2. No overtakes have been made on this occasion. So we'll just wait and try to get everything functioning once again.
Yeah, interesting.
It is the broadcast machine, we are being told. So
live timing still going on, so
yeah, no, the server is absolutely
not
fine.
sure
Live timing is still going around. It's still
Apologize
Knapp,
for that.
Saracino, and Gallen Martis and Canzonieri, your top 4 on lap 26 of 31. Once again, sometimes we do have issues and we can't get around them, but we will keep you posted the best that we can. We'll just keep an eye out on the live timing as we get the broadcast machine going once again. But Knapp still leads from Saracino. And hopefully when we come back, everyone's still running. Obviously, we have lost 5 drivers in this race. We choose Micah and Perjus Miram on the first lap. We lost Sander van Leuven early on. Hayden Cownan and Nando Marsa as well. Marsa having a big shunt down, coming up, coming out of Stavolo. Oh, then, it's been a great race so far. Lap 26 of 31. Let us know what your highlight has been as we just wait to get back trackside for you. Oliver Tara setting very fast laps. He's trying to chase down Grecek Luchak, but he's got a bit of he's got about 2 seconds between them, yeah. So maybe Oliver Taras can try and make his way up into P8. Daniel Brandtholm still fighting with Gerlof De Vries as this becomes a radio show here in the FSR Academy Series. Of course, while the racing may have momentarily come to a halt on the broadcast side of things here at Spa, there are still 2 races to look forward to later on in the Pro Series and the World Championship, should I say, where the very best in sim racing get ready to go toe-to-toe and battle it out. Of course, World Championship getting close in that as well. Yannick Bock and Owen McGorgy fighting for that title with 138 points and 128 points between them separately. So that one is going to be Dennehan, the Irish driver, also very close behind on 107. So that is all very exciting. And if we have a look at the Pro Championship as well, Sergio Fletcher is very close with Patrick Sevet and Zolt Souks. Those 3 only covered by around 15 points, if my math serves me correctly. Sergio Fletcher, of course, a great driver, doing a great job in Pro over the last few years, and alongside other adventures in other sim racing series. So make sure you're tuning in for those ones. Should be very exciting. Again, the live timing is still running. As we just get the broadcast machine up and running once again. The live timing is still running, so you can check the live timing link to keep up with things. Lap 28 of 31, Peter Knapp from Saracino, still 1 and 2. It's very much just sitting and waiting at the moment. No one really making any moves. But hopefully, we'll be back trackside in a moment. Antoni, potentially? I'll take that as a yes. So, as we get ready late on in the race to go trackside once again, as it stands, Peter Knapp set to take the championship lead and take it by quite some margin as well. Nearest challenger will be Giuseppe Canzonieri, currently P4. He'll be picking up 15 points if they finish where they are. But Pete, or Danoff Brandthom, should I say, the championship leader in P5, if he finishes there, that's only 12 points. So the gap between Brandthom and Knapp will be 12 points in Knapp's favour, heading to the Circuit of the Americas for the 9th round of the season. It could be very, very exciting. Good to see Sergio Fletcher watching along as well. Hello, Sergio. Good to see you there. I try my best not to make people blush, but you're doing a great job at the moment. Yeah, good to see, of course, a few FSR drivers listening in to our impromptu radio broadcast at the moment. Again, we hope to be trackside in just a few moments. We are on lap 28 of 31 here at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. We are moments away from the end of the race. Peter Knapp is still leading from Giuseppe Saracino. Galliano in P3 with Canzonieri in P4. Canzonieri is catching Galliano. He could have a chance for the podium here, which would be a great result, not just for him, but for his championship hopes as well. So we'll wait and see. Again, just some technical issues going on here. As you can hear, some fixes being made in the background. We'll try and get it all ready and going for you as quick as we can. But we do hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. Again, we've got 2 more races to come after this one in the Pro Series and the FSR World Championship. As I just mentioned, it is hotting up there. But we hope to be back trackside very, very shortly. We're now on lap 29 of 31. It is dying down. Peter Knapp and Saracino, 7/10 separating them at the line last time. Let us know what your highlight of the race has been so far. Let us know what the highlight of your season has been so far. Of course, it's been a great year so far in Academy. Let us know what you remember, and then maybe what your predictions are as well heading into the last 2 rounds of the year. Who do you think is going to be the FSR Academy champion in 2024 and etch their names into the history books? Again, the winner of this race the last 3 consecutive years, which is the last 3 times we've been to Spa because we didn't go in 2020. The winners of this race have gone on to take the championship. Is that a sign for Peter Knapp? If you're a superstitious person, it very much could be. I've been told that Canzonieri has made his way up into 3rd place, so I think there may have been a mistake for Galliano somewhere. But Giuseppe Canzonieri does take 3rd place late on in the day. What a great run for him. The 2-stopper working wonders and getting him onto the podium, that soft compound tyre. Just a great, great job from Giuseppe Canzonieri in the Team GG car. We do hope once again that you have enjoyed the broadcast the whole way through. Of course, coming in at the perfect time at the end of the Le Mans 24-hour earlier on this weekend. That came to a checkered flag just as we got going here in the Academy Series. You can jump from one to the other and enjoy all of the racing action. Lap 30 of 31, we're in the dying phases and we are back trackside. Excellent stuff then, 2 laps to run. It will be Knapp holding on to that lead from Saracino. But it is super, super tight out there, super, super close. And anyone's guess how it is all going to unfold over the last remaining laps. Well, Antoni, we've been away from the track for a short moment, but we've come back and the front 2 are still neck and neck.
Yeah, will it swap at this point? I have no clue, to be honest. I think at this point it's done and dusted. They're in pretty much the same team. I think if they want to prioritize the championship of Peter Knapp, I think the only option here is to let him have the win, especially with Danoff Brandthom down in P5. So, good race for Peter Knapp, and it's going to put him firmly in control of the championship now as we head down into the final lap in just a few corners.
Well, time will tell how long it's going to run, but it is getting close, and it is getting closer and closer to the final lap of this race. On board with Saracino chasing down Peter Knapp, who, as long as he finishes in the top 2, will leave here with the championship lead. But he wants another win to his name as well. But can Saracino upset the apple cart One more lap to go here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Peter Knapp holds the lead down into last source. This is Saracino's best opportunity, most likely. Dumping that ERS, using that DRS up the top of the hill, down the Kemmel Straight. Here we go, up through Eau Rouge and Radillon. I don't think he's close enough. At first glance, Knapp will surely also be using all of his ERS and then some. And Saracino, even with the rear wing open, will not be closing enough. Further back, that is De Vries trading places with Cedric Bill. So Bill on the soft tyres has made his way up to P6, still picking up big championship points. Are our championship frontrunners, even if Knapp will be taking the championship lead. Canzonieri, Brantham, Bill, all within the top 6 here. And tell you what, that actually is Daniel Brantham just in front of Cedric Bill. Could that be more woes for the man who led the championship into this one? The Super Swede potentially under attack. Peter Knapp, though, holding on for the time being as they negotiate their way through Pouhon now into campus. Can Saracino find anything? I'm really not sure. As they now into Stavelot. One last blast up the bottom end of the track and through Blanchimont. It might have to be last chance saloon for Saracino. Maybe miracles performed into the bus stop. Knapp looks ahead, but is it far enough ahead? Does Saracino have anything in his locker? Running into the bus stop now. Peter Knapp will hold on. Saracino closes, but it is not enough as they round the final corner. Peter Knapp will take a 4th win of the season in FSR Academy. Saracino gives him a nudge. It was close racing, but the Italian can only hold on to second as Canzonieri makes his way onto the podium places. Gallen Martis will finish a very strong P4. Danov Brantham, P5. After starting from the pit lane, a great drive, but was the pit lane start the right move as Bill is 6th and De Vries 7th. Grechek Luchak will be P8, with Oliver Taras set to come home in P9 and Raboli some way back in P10, but Peter Knapp held his cool, held his nerve and held on for a great win there. And is this the moment that Danov Brantham will regret in 2 races' time? Because is this the moment the championship was flipped on its head?
Well, Ross, I think we'll see in 2 races if the streak is going to continue, but this is the kind of race that just flips the whole complexion of a championship around. And I think this is all in Peter Knapp's hands now, honestly. 2 races to go with the Circuit of the Americas and then the final round at Suzuka, where we've also seen a lot of action, a lot of upsets in the closing stages of Formula SimRacing championships before, but, well, we can't predict what's going to happen in those 2 races. What we can speak about is what's happening now, and Peter Knapp, the new championship leader.
There it is then, Peter Knapp. A great drive for the Slovak, and he will be taking the championship lead and his 4th race win of the season. What a performance for him, as we see apparently Giuseppe Saracino finishing on the top step there. That's not quite right, but we'll get that fixed, I'm sure. And it says Giuseppe Saracino there, but anyway, we'll wait and see. It was Peter Knapp taking the win from Saracino in P2. Giuseppe Canzonieri was in P3, with Kostas Galanamartis P4. Danov Brantham losing the championship lead in P5. Cedric Bill was 6th, with Gerloff De Vries, a great drive from him, to P7. Grechek Luchak in P8, with Oliver Taras 9th, and Massimiliano Raboli in P10. Oliver Demolians was 11th, with Davide Zanini in P12. Terry Crawford was 2 laps down, and the last of our runners in P13. Unfortunately, we did lose Nandor Massa, Hayden Cownham, Sander van Leuven, Perjas Miram, Matthews Micah. There we go, then there you do see the grid up on your screen. But Antoni, we've had a great race here today. What's the takeaway heading out and into the final 2 rounds of the season?
Well, Spa definitely did not disappoint. It took a lot of victims this race, as expected. A lot of chaos, but this is the momentum that Peter Knapp will want going into these final 2 rounds now. 2 wins in a row, 3 podiums in a row. His 4th win of his season. I mean, he's just looking unstoppable right now. And he is definitely the man to watch. But the championship fight now, within only 2 people, I'd have to say right now. I think it's only down to Peter Knapp and Dano Brandholm right now. And it's definitely going to be quite the ride to see these two fight it out in the final 2 rounds.
Oh, it certainly will be. Make sure you join us on the 14th of July. A little bit of a break up to the next race now, but we'll be heading to Austin, Texas for the Circuit of the Americas and the United States Grand Prix. And this championship is hotting up. So let's head to Texas and experience some desert heat. Thank you very much for joining us for the 8th round of the Academy Championship. And make sure you stick around because we've got the Pro Series up next. And then, of course, the World Championship a little bit later on. So from myself, Ross McIntyre, and Antoni Nicpon alongside me, it's goodbye for now.
Hello, I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to Rd.8.
Who's going to break this world title?
But my Gosby! Oh, he's done it! And look at these 2 go! Richie Hoy is going to do it! His first victory!
The World Championship is done.
What a race it's been!